Hello class, welcome to the introduction part of the listening module. Well, as we all know, the listening module is usually the first part of the IELTS examination, and it usually lasts for a time period of 25 to 30 minutes. And something very important to note, the audio in the listening test is only listened to once. So you can't rewind that audio or fast track it. So please, before even we go a step further, be very keen in your listening test because the audio is only repeated once. It's only not repeated, it's only listened to once. Yes. But something that's very also positive is that most students consider the listening module to be the easiest part of the examination, and in that case I'd say that our aim as a class is a band 8 and above in the listening module, which I think is very achievable. It's not something that is too high or something. Yes. So, but something also to note, don't be discouraged if you find that listening is not your stronghold. It can go either way. Okay, let's talk about the test day during your listening test. So, in your exam room, you're going to be presented with a computer which will have the audio recording that you're going to be listening to, and you're also going to be provided with headphones that you're going to use to listen the audio with. And before I forget, please always ensure that the volume of your audio is clear enough and suitable for you even before the test begins. Yes. There's also somewhere to adjust the audio's volume, either reduce it or increase it to your liking. Apart from headphones, you're also presented with a rough paper whereby you can note down some rough work during the test. If you're sitting for your paper-based exam, you're going to be presented with your answer sheet, which is in paper form, whereby you're going to be able to transfer your answers from your rough sheet to your answer sheet. But if you're sitting for the computer-based examination, you're going to only be presented with your rough sheet. This is because your final answers are written on your computer. Yes, so there's like no need for an answer sheet. Yes. And something very important to note is that at the end of the test, if you're doing a paper-based exam, you're given 10 minutes to transfer your answers from your rough sheet to your answer sheet. Those are your final answers that you're going to place them on your answer sheet. But if you're sitting for the computer-based, you're only given 2 minutes to review the answers that you already wrote down in your computer. This is because in computer-based, there's no handwriting needed. So you'll basically be typing in your answers as the test goes on. But please don't panic. There's enough time for you to either type your answers in your computer or write them down in your rough paper. Like there's enough time in between the questions. Yes. And something also important to note is that the answers in the listening test are sequential. So the listening audio is in a sequential manner, in a descending sequential manner. So if it's number 1, you go number 1, number 2, number 3. You can't find an answer of number 1 at the end of the audio and then answer for number 2 at the beginning. It's sequential. Once you answer number 1, you go on to number 2. Yes. Something also important to note is that the listening test is usually in British accent. So you have to familiarize yourself with the British accent. But this will come naturally once you practice. The more you practice, the more you get used to the accent. And then you can also supplement this by listening to British movies or British news like BBC. Yeah, things like that. Or rather, also get a British friend so that you can converse and then you get used to the accent. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Or am I? Not really. Anyway, so in terms of the amount of practice tests needed for you to excel in your IELTS listening exam, I'd recommend at least 10 listening tests and above, 10 to 15. And then 3 practice tests towards the day of your examination. So for example, if your exam is tomorrow, 2 days prior, do at least 3. But overall, do at least 10 to 15, just to be on the safer side. And in each practice test, please always note down your mistake. If you've completed a practice test, note down the answers you've failed in, and note down the reason why you failed a specific question. If it's, for example, zoning out of the exam, write down zoning out of the exam. For example, if you didn't understand the context of the question, write down I didn't understand context. For example, if the audio was too fast for you and you missed that question, write down that reason, so that in your next test you're going to be conscious enough not to repeat the same mistake that made you fail a certain question in your previous practice test. Always do this for each practice test, and always ensure that in each practice test you minimize or completely avoid the reason why you failed a certain question in your previous practice test. Please always do this, and you'll realize by the time you're in your 10th or 12th practice test, everything is so easy because you've already noted down your weak points and you've worked on them in each practice test. And always ensure in each practice test there's improvement. You can't be getting a band 6 in this practice test, the next one you're band 5, the next one band 4. Seriously, that can only happen if you're not taking note of your mistakes in your previous practice tests. Yes, so 10 to 15 practice tests as recommended. And note that by the time you're in your 10th or 12th practice test, be rest assured your real exam results are going to range in the range of your performance in the practice test, either 0.5 plus or 0.5 minus. So if in your last maybe 3-4 practice tests you got a band 7.5, be rest assured your exam results are going to be either 7.5 or 8. Yes, so that's the range. So please don't expect a miracle, but with practice it's possible to attain a band 8 and above. Yes, so guys, we've come to the end of the introduction part of this module, and I can't wait to see you in the main content part of this module. Bye.